Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Got the Lando show. Going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys matching up with the New England Patriots, the vaunted Bill Belichick, and the 4-1 Dallas Cowboys. Landon, what's good, brother?
What's good, man? You and I get to pleasure of watching the Cowboys lose on Saturday and then watching the Cowboys win on Sunday. So
There we go. Get to watch
that's that
America's team,
America's team.
Boston. You hear that, Boston? I don't care how many
Yes,
Super Bowls
sir.
y'all got. Y'all will never be America's team.
Making noise up in Massachusetts this
Yeah.
weekend, man. I'm pumped. I'm ready to
A
go.
lot of
But
hot takes coming out of there. They seem kind of threatened.
did you
So
see that article they dropped
I did.
about Mac Jones too much for the overrated Cowboys defense or whatever?
Yeah, we're gonna
Oh,
jump in. We're gonna jump in.
blasphemy.
I do want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor, the official sports book, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective. Shout out to BUSR, busr.com/fanatic. We got a lot of stuff going on the site this week. You know, they just actually, I found out from BOSR, they were the ones that broke the news on the Zach Ertz trade to the Cardinals. But hit that promo there, busr.com/fanatic, sports 100 FP, sports 100 FP. There's a 5-time rollover on there, but it's 100% free play matching on all deposits. So use my link, show us some love. All you always ask me for numbers, totals, overs, and whatnot. Let's make some money together on BUSR. So, Cowboys, Patriots, going back to your point, they said our defense, we're going to jump right in. They said the defense is overrated. That article that you're referencing coming out of Boston, they seem to be quite complimentary of Dak and Zeke in the offense. But
Yeah.
when it came to Trayvon Diggs and his fluky interceptions, and what's funny to me is they referenced the Leonard Fournette bobble, in the first game, which is fine. You want to reference that, whatever. You still got to be in the right place, right time, read your keys, all that. But to put the Mike Glennon interception, that was a high level interception by Trayvon Diggs. I don't like to say the ball was underthrown. You really don't know what you're talking about when you say stuff like that. And so
No.
that's really, really interesting that they're using, ESPN win rates and all these pulling numbers really out of their what
Yeah.
to discredit the Cowboys defense because they know Mac Jones is in for a rough ride come Sunday.
Yeah. Trey Diggs, he baited that pick, first of all. You
Thank
saw,
you.
yeah, no, he definitely baited that pick. And I think Cowboys Nation all saw that too. They all agree. So kind of a moot point there. But yeah, I've seen some things questioning the validity of the Cowboys defense as well. And while it is fair to say that the turnover margin, at least, the rate at which we are turning the football over defensively, probably safe to go ahead and say that won't be sustained, or even like that we might see some sort of regression to the mean in that regard. So that's totally fair. But also too, I've seen people mention the Cowboys defense in the second half and even in the fourth quarter primarily, and how kind of suspect that can be. And the only thing I'll say is this, and it's really kind of simple of a concept to understand. It makes a lot of sense when you think about it this way. When you have a lead that the Cowboys have had in all but one game this year, I guess really maybe two. The Chargers game was close, but two of the 5 games they've had multiple touchdown leads late in the second half, and so defense becomes it's a different game whenever you're playing with that sizable of a lead, and the offensive philosophy changes. It's 4 wide, sometimes 5 wide, spread it out. It's air raid, right? You're playing against air raid. You're keeping everything in front and giving up the shallow to intermediate stuff and letting them just kind of move the chains slowly as opposed to getting beat deep. And so,
But
that's
Landon,
also too, man.
isn't that what we got criticized about just a year ago when we were down all the time
Yeah,
and Dak was on his way to throwing for 6,000 plus yards and everybody said what? It's garbage time yards.
garbage
Those
time.
don't count.
Yeah,
Empty calories, right? And so where's that analysis or objectivity when it's flipped, right?
hmm
When we have jumped on the opponent, like you said, the margin is so great. You're in throw game, right? And
yeah,
we're playing off. We're not trying to give up a 20-second touchdown one play, right? So you are going to get some chunk yardage. You are going to rack up some. It's just simple context, right? And
yeah.
so I don't understand Well, I do, because part of it is just the narrative of the Cowboys are the bad guys in the media, and they're always going to do little things to nitpick or discredit what's going on. Like, I hear a lot of people recently saying one of the go-to for analysts right now is the Cowboys. Well, this is what they do every September and October. This is what they do every September and October. You'll see when and it's like, well,
Every
you're not
September.
first two things, right? Number one, show me the last time we were this good early in the season. Give me an example. That's not like 5 years ago,
We
right?
had 2 wins
Eh,
to this point last year.
right. So that's not that discredits that, right?
Yeah.
And then the second thing is, you're not grading any other team in that manner. No one's saying, like, if you're gonna use previous seasons as your reason as to why the Cowboys shouldn't be having goals of thinking, all right, we not only lock up our division, but we have goals of trying to really secure home field advantage, have goals of reaching the NFC Championship game, have goals of reaching the Super Bowl. Anybody that's 4-1, especially in the manner that you secure that 4-1, anyone's thinking that, right? Unless you have some sort of catastrophic injury that occurs, those are your goals at that point, based upon the way the season has started. How come you guys give the Chargers the benefit of the doubt? What have the Chargers done in the last 10, 15 years to get a pass for their start? But then you put all this energy on the Cowboys for being chokers. What have the Cardinals shown? How come everybody's just comfortable with the Cardinals or the
Best
Buffalo
team
Bills?
in the NFL right now.
It's
for
so
the Chargers, the only thing they've done really is underperform and underachieve in their last 10 years with the borderline Hall of Fame quarterback in Phillip Rivers.
sure.
Nothing to show for it. So yeah, I'm with you on that,
But the
man.
Cowboys, but the moment we do well, and the last few weeks we've beaten teams we're supposed to beat. And I think that will continue against the New England Patriots, and it's making people uncomfortable because
Yep.
we're not tripping over our feet the way we used to. And I think that is a credit to Mike McCarthy. I think that's a credit to the leadership on the football team, of the maturation that they've had. But
Yeah.
it's just really frustrating when you see your team get ranked, below the Green Bay Packers in the power rankings, and Green Bay got obliterated in the first week of the season, and they should have lost, or that Cincinnati game last week, and we're
Yeah.
not playing. We're clearly playing better football than they are, and
Mhm.
so, but then you want to gas up the Chargers. That, like, it's the inconsistencies
Yep.
that I'm seeing that are frustrating. But in regards to this game against the New England Patriots, I think our defense, and keeping on that topic,
Yeah.
Mac Jones, young rookie quarterback, I think he's, in context of what he has to work with
Mhm.
and how the Patriots are built, he's playing relatively well. I like the way he played against Tom Brady in a rain game on Sunday Night Football, very emotional. But they're not any type of juggernaut offense, right?
No.
It's not Justin Herbert. It's not Tom Brady. Even some of the other things we've seen with Sam Darnold, right? I
Mhm.
don't see those type of threats. Am I worried about Kendrick Bourne? Am I worried
No.
about Jacoby Myers? Am I worried about Jonnu Smith?
Well,
Tell me,
yeah,
I mean,
they spent $100 million on 2 tight ends in the offseason. They still haven't even figured out how to get them involved in the offense yet. Like, both of those guys are averaging 2 catches a game right now, and like maybe 4 or 5 targets. But really, the thing is, man, this, and I'll go ahead and just kind of be blunt about it. And I've already said it on my channel multiple times too. Mac Jones, he's a fine quarterback. He's going to be okay at some point, but there's going to be a lot of growing pains, as there are for every rookie quarterback, especially.
Sure.
Especially with the expectations that are thrust upon him, trying to fill the shoes of Tom Brady that are frankly impossible to be filled. But if you just watch the game, and even like to your point about how he played against the Bucs, yeah, he played well in that game. But again, context is key there. It was just a piss storm of a rain game. Tom Brady was, we saw him not be able to stay on top of a couple throws early that would have led to an even more significant lead, substantially higher than it was in that first half. But Mac Jones, really, he doesn't stretch the field vertically. He's not going to attack you via the air more than 15 yards down the field. His average depth of target right now, I think, is like somewhere very, very towards the bottom of the totem pole. It's like 6.7 yards per attempt. Now, his completion percentage is up there. He's completing 71% of his passes. But why is that?
And they're moving the chains. They're moving the chains in between the 20s.
Exactly.
And I think if you're New England, that's a positive in terms of trying to – I think your key to victory is TOP and trying to hang on to the football because, I mean, the way Dallas has been running the football and the way Dallas doesn't punt very often.
No.
So if Dallas is going to continue to do what they've been doing on offense – then because we're getting to the point. I mean, especially at home now. We're on the road in this game, but at home we're getting 35, 40 points, right? And so we're getting in the NFL. That's a lot of points, and a lot of people can't swim at that height, right? So a lot of people start drowning when it gets to 28, like the Panthers, or 35, and it's like, oh, I got to throw and do whatever I can to keep up, right? And so I do think that the Patriots are going to have to figure out TOP in this game and how Mac Jones moves the football in combination with the run and Damian Harris and what they're doing.
He's questionable too. He may not even play this week.
He may not play.
He's a game time decision. So, but yeah, man, that's spot on. I don't believe the Patriots are capable of scoring more than 20. My number before 2 weeks ago when they actually did score more than 24 points. Against who was it? I think the Jets or
most the Jets. I think they beat the Jets 25-6.
The Texans, like that. But so if you just look again, context is key here, man. Like they've played 2 quality opponents this season, and against those 2 quality opponents, speaking of course about the Saints and the Bucks, they average 15 points per game. This Cowboys team is going to put 30 on you. Period. And so if you ask Mac Jones to do anything more than what we've already seen him do, it's going to be a long day. And again, it's just because of how do you help ultimately a rookie quarterback? You have a solid run game, establish with those 2 tight ends, figure out how to get the run game going with them and, using them as in run blocking scenarios, which they still haven't done that yet. The Patriots actually to date this season through 5 weeks have thrown the ball almost 100 times more than they've ran it. And so to me, that's just not really a recipe for success if you're talking about controlling the time of possession. So
I do think so. If you're looking at Bill Belichick, so this is the concern I have, or if there is a concern in terms of losing the football game. Bill Belichick, we haven't beaten the Patriots in a very long time. I think it was since
it was in the 80s.
Like it's been a minute since we've beaten the Patriots.
Foxborough, I believe.
Yeah. So it's been a minute, and Bill Belichick is one of the masters, is the best at, Kellen Moore even brought it up about, he's going to make us play left-handed. Thank God I'm left-handed. Thought that was a great quote.
that was so witty.
But the thing is about the Cowboys is that last time they went up to Foxborough, Bill Belichick won't be able to hit the weather machine again. At least I hope. Where they cause a monsoon and hit the Buffalo Wild Wings button.
That is so crazy that you said that. I was thinking about that.
Bro, I think we would have beat them 2 years ago if wasn't the case. Like it was literally, we've never played under those type of conditions before.
It was a monsoon.
Haven't since. Yeah. It was a monsoon, right? To the point where they couldn't throw the ball either. Like it was just like, well, this is how we're going to play the game and get out of here, right? Because I think there's going to be some things that he's going to scheme up. I've seen a lot of great content about some of the coverages and the complexities that there'll be. It's not just straight up, I'm a blitz you, right? Because we have a veteran quarterback now, a quarterback that's been a master at the line of scrimmage and controlling everything, and is also very patient in terms of checking to the run. We have a great offensive line. There he is. There's our general.
What's up, QB1?
I love it. And he controls the line of scrimmage, right? Whether it's dictating the run or dictating the pass. One of the things you saw, even in the Tampa Bay game, even though Tampa Bay didn't put up a lot of points because they tried to hit the weather button on Tom Brady when he came up there. Yep. They did, right? And they tried to turn that into a monsoon. Yep. But the thing is, they were still able to run the football. And Tampa Bay is not even a great running team, but they were able to turn around and run the football. Houston last week was able to run the football. I mean, at some point, I don't care what scheme you have. If you can run through somebody's face, it doesn't matter. And that's what they got to do to Matthew Judon, who's very, very electric as a pass rusher and having a really good year coming over from the Ravens. You got to run at these guys. You can't, and I think it's going to be a similar. I think if you're the Patriots or the Cowboys, you're comfortable playing the way we had to play against the Chargers, where they're playing a lot of off. They're taking away a lot of the in-breaking routes and making us work to the outsides. Now, the beauty of that, even from a couple years ago, because they tried to play us like that too, is instead of Randall Cobb, I have CeeDee Lamb. Instead, my tight ends are more grown up. My tight ends understand how to move in zone coverage a lot better than
the
they
array
did a
of pass
couple years
catchers
ago.
as a whole is drastically different. Drastically
different.
Yeah.
Screen game is much better, whether it's Tony Pollard or Ezekiel Elliott. So there's no weakness on the Cowboys offense.
Right.
There's no weakness. The weakness that they've had, if any, is they get sloppy sometimes out of, just out of their own way, right? Whether it's a fumbled snap or, a lazy, catch or drop or interception or whatever. When they get out of their own way, there's no weakness. They do everything well,
right?
Offensively.
The Cowboys,
and if you try to come up, they'll throw the ball over your head.
Yeah.
So how do you play them?
So that is interesting. That's an interesting point, and I actually want to talk about that for a second. First and foremost, the Cowboys have won games three different types of ways. They've won it by throwing the football, or they've almost done that really against the Bucs, right? They had a chance. Threw it 58 times. They've done it with Dak and Zeke, the two-headed monster in the backfield against Philly, New York, and Carolina. And then they've also done it by playing great red zone defense against the Chargers and winning it in special teams with the last-second kick in Greg Zuerlein. So they're comfortable beating you, however. That's the beauty of it and why I love what I'm seeing so far. And most of Dak's brilliance thus far has been pre-snap. And that's the one thing that I've talked about, too, the psychological component of him being immobilized physically because of the injury last year. He talked about this, saying that it forced him. He couldn't do anything physically to grow as a player. So what did he do? He had to sharpen the mental up here. And so all that pre-snap stuff, man, that he's getting his team in the right position and the right checks and the right play calls, it is so damn efficient. And it's because of number 4. Now, the thing that I'm curious to see how Bill Belichick, Mr. Master Defensive Coordinator mind, right? I want to see, and I'll ask you this question. How do you foresee them slowing the Cowboys down? You listen to Jeff Kavanaugh. He already went through his breakdown. He has access to the All-22 film, which I don't yet. Hopefully soon. I keep saying that. But what the Patriots do defensively, they basically line up in a single high safety, and they play man everywhere else underneath, okay? So what that means is they've got one extra safety in the box. Basically, they march a guy down. They're trying to – so their personnel will tell you that they're trying to slow the pass game down because they're almost always in either a nickel or a dime set, 5 DBs or 6 DBs. But their alignment tells you that they're trying to slow down the run because they're marching down one of those guys into the box, an extra run stopping defender. So my question is to you, if you're Bill Belichick, how do you choose? I mean, you can't in your right mind go into this with the mentality of trying to win a shootout with Dak Prescott if you've got Mac Jones on your side of the football. So to me, they're gonna almost have to let the Cowboys, they're gonna have to. Maybe we see some too high stuff, and in which case the Cowboys just more of the same on the ground game. I don't know.
I think you have to go too high because last week the Giants, as soon as they went into more of it wasn't necessarily a cover 3 look, but as soon as they rotated that one safety back there, and Kellen Moore did a brilliant job of running, I believe it was Cedric Wilson, in the middle of the field to occupy that safety. And what happened? They isolate CeeDee Lamb on James Bradbury. CeeDee Lamb's going to win, right? So every time. And the Patriots do have good corners. I'm not, not being disrespectful. I like J.C. Jackson, all these guys. But Amari Cooper, CD, these guys are technicians on the outside. So if you start playing football like that, where it's like, all right, we're going to sell out to take away the run, and we're going to sell out also with that extra safety to also kind of take away those in-breaking routes and some of that comfortable stuff we've been getting with Dalton Schultz, those nice, safe windows, and say, all right, I want Dak to beat me with these guys on the outside. we
Good
might
luck.
get some big chunk plays. Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, you'll have to wait for those things to develop a little bit longer. But we have our offensive line intact, and
Yeah.
looks like Tyron's going to go.
He's good.
I'm much more comfortable with how Terrence Steele's playing. I'm sure that we'll see a lot of Judon on Terrence Steele. But if you have the time to develop, and you saw this with Jameis was able to get some chunk plays because as soon as they blocked some stuff up, they were able to win outside.
Yeah.
And the Saints don't have a very good wide receiving core right now.
Not
So if
nearly
they
what the
were able to
Cowboys
win,
possess. Yeah.
not at all, right? And then on top of that, they were able to still win with Alvin Kamara in the middle of the field somehow. So Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott, you know, as it's going to be smoke and mirrors from Bill Belichick to make the quarterback pump, to make the
Right.
quarterback check to a run when Bill Belichick wants him to check to a run.
Mhm.
But over time, Dak and Kellen Moore, that's why everybody's saying this is a big test for the both of them. Because if they just get their stuff correct pre-snap, like they've shown all season, and Bill Belichick is not the only brilliant defensive mind this team has seen so far.
Mhm.
Okay. Now
Todd
he's the
Bowles
most
has a pretty good
respected.
reputation
Absolutely. And
for the
Todd Bowles
Bucs.
had the personnel to say, y'all not running the football,
Exactly.
right?
And the
And
Cowboys, it
we
didn't matter.
adjusted. We
Uh-huh.
adjusted. And if not for a kick game, we're over 30 points in that game.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's really a mental game, because if the mental's even, and the Cowboys have shown that so far this year, you really can't stop them offensively. So
Agreed.
now it goes back to Mac Jones, who can't win in a shootout, to essentially hold on to the football, him and Josh McDaniels, to have to put together 15, 16 play drives. And now we're having conversations about when's the last time the Cowboys had the ball.
Yeah.
That to me, that's the way to beat the Cowboys. You can't play regular football and go back and forth with them. We'll drown you.
And Mac Jones will turn the football over too. If you look at his numbers, he's also, he's got a 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, 5-to-5. So he'll make those mistakes. The issue is, though, and this is another thing I'm wondering. By the way, I love listening to Dan Quinn talk. If you haven't listened to his press conferences, I would highly, highly encourage you to do so. So much coach speak, or the coaching jargon whenever they're in press conferences, it's all just, oh, do your job, control what you can control. We'll get back to the film, and all this stuff where they're not really saying anything. They're saying stuff without revealing any sort of information. The thing I love about Dan Quinn is he has the ability to communicate without tipping his hand. And that, even I noticed that dating back to Hard Knocks, when he was on the phone mid preseason game with Micah Parsons. And just listening to the way that they spoke to each other, you could feel the level of just just a high level of continuity between the two of each other already. And that was in the preseason. I can't even imagine, where they're at now. But to me, though, listening to Dan Quinn, he talked about the adjustment of playing Micah Parsons on the second level a lot more last week because of the skill set that guys like Saquon Barkley and Kadarius Toney, and the speed of Daniel Jones, what they can possess and do to teams by getting out in space, right? So I love that adjustment, just knowing your personnel, knowing what you're good at, and finding ways to neutralize the strength of the opponent. So for me, I'm wondering, given that we know that the Patriots and Mac Jones get the ball out at the 6th quickest pace, I think, in football right now. Dak is like the 3rd or something like that, but it's like 2-point-something seconds, very, very fast, because everything is to the flat and then just, shallow crosses and then to the short and intermediate game. I'm wondering if they know that, and they kind of swallow their pride a little bit as far as pass rush is concerned, and just let Micah Parsons and even Jabril Cox start to get more accumulated into.
That's what I want to see too.
And kind of attacking guys down, you know what I mean? Like in the shallow to intermediate levels of the passing game. So that'll be a fun chess match.
Yeah, I want to see, it was cool to see Jabril play last week. He did knock the quarterback out the game.
Yeah.
And,
he only had 5 snaps or something, though, which is kind of surprising. Felt like he was out there more.
And I think he'll come along. I mean, Leighton played probably his best game last week.
He did.
And we know what Ose is bringing. Golston's coming. So, I feel comfortable with this game. I feel comfortable saying the Cowboys are going to get to 5-0, and that's because I don't see the path to get for the points that the Patriots need. unless they turn on the weather machine. If they turn on the weather machine on us, then that's a completely different conversation, right?
Mr.
So
Gillette himself with all the
yeah,
power. Rain
Landon,
Man.
where can the people find you, man?
Man, I'm at the Lando show on YouTube. I am at man. You caught me slipping right now. I don't even know what all my
I got
handles
you.
are.
Yeah, I got you. It's all at the Lando Show. Lando
There you
Show
go.
on
There you
YouTube.
go.
Lando Show on Twitter.
I was thinking it
Talking
was different
Cowboys, Longhorns. Nah, yeah, I got you. I got your
on
stuff up
Instagram or
here.
something. I appreciate you having my back there, man. Thank you.
Nah, no
Yeah, man.
problem,
It's
man. Thanks for coming on. I think for those of you who follow us and our sponsor, make sure you hit up bosr.com. I feel comfortable with not just the Cowboys, but there's some interesting games this weekend. For those who don't know, Russell Wilson and Chris Carson are out. Russell Wilson's gone on the
yeah.
IR. So if you want to hit that action now on what's going on with Seattle, take advantage at BUSR, the official sports book, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective. BUSR.com/Fanatic Sports 100 FP, 100% free play bonus on all deposits. Landon, thank you for joining. We feel good
Always a
about the
pleasure, man.
Cowboys this week.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Think it's going to be a good one for us. All right.
Yes,
Well, we'll
sir.
see you guys later, and go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.